Welcome back to Magoo's Reviews. All right, y'all, this is my review for It Welcome to Derry, episode 4. But before we get into the video, again, we're close to 1,000 subscribers. After that, we're going to hit 10,000. We're on our way to 100,000. We're going to be at a million. We're going to claim it, and it will happen. All right, y'all. Hey, I'm a big proponent. I love this show. But before I get into my review, again, this is a spoilers review. A spoilers review. So if you have not watched any of the episodes, I will be spoiling the episode. So go ahead, check out the show. Come back. Let's watch the review. Watch the review. We can talk about it in the comment section. But yes, man, I absolutely love this show. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons, more so pros than cons. But it really picks up at the beginning. The beginning of the episode picks up in the police station. We see the kids, Rich, Will, Lily, and Ronnie. They go to the police station because remember at the end of episode 3, they were in the graveyard and they actually got pictures of the young children who were killed by Pennywise as ghosts. And they actually got Will kind of got a shot of Pennywise as a club. It's really grainy because remember, this is film, right? It's not digital or anything like that. So as they're going to the police station, Bowers, Chief Bowers, who was Henry Bowers' grandfather from the movies, he's looking at the images and stuff like that, and he's faking stuff. Oh, and I'm like, all right, there goes, man. They ain't gonna pick up on the camera, right? So none of them, the kids are freaking out because they're like, oh, we have evidence, Ronnie's father, he's innocent and all this kind of stuff. Come to find out, the last photo, you can still see like the little grainy shot of Pennywise. And she's like, that's it right there. It's a clown. It's a clown. And he's like, get up out of here. So, of course, they don't believe the kids. Will goes back home. He's upset. He's talked to his mom, Charlotte Hanlon, who's played by Taylor Page. Who's played by Taylor Page, right? Anyway, talks to her, about his mom and everything like that, like something's wrong with Derry. So he's stressed out. The mom sees it and everything like that. So the father comes back, Mr. Hanlon, Leroy Hanlon, who's with the military. He's working with them pretty much, because the military is kind of using him as well, like him and Dick Halloran from The Shining, the younger character of Halloran. So, they're being used by the military. But, Mrs. Hanlon, she tells Mr. Hanlon, say, hey, you got to go out, just, spend time with him, spend time with the boys. So that's when they go out fishing and stuff. This was a crazy scene, very crazy scene. So as Will's out there fishing with his dad, something happens where I guess he got to change something. So his father goes back to the car and Will's still out there, in the water. The fish comes up to him. I'm like, all right, something crazy about to happen. Boom, whole arm come out, grab the boy, trying to drown him, but it's his father. He's like, you'll burn too. But the visual effects look good here. And that's one of my cons I will get later on to your review. But overall, the visual effects look good here. And that's when Will's father, Mr. Hanlon, gets back out to the water. He picks his son up, scars, cuts all over his arm and stuff like that. He sees it. Crazy scene, man. Will and his father turn around. They see Pennywise's red balloon walk past. And that's the part that got me because, of course, I knew Will was going to see it, but his father, that's when I was like, oh, shoot. Okay. I'm like, yeah, it's definitely getting good, right? So at that point, it's kind of just not necessarily jumping all over the place, but it's two subplots going on. So you got Miss Handling. She's I'm sorry, Miss Handling, she goes to the police station to try to talk to, Mr. Davis, who's Ronnie's father, who owns it, the movie there. And she's pretty much like, hey, I like speak to him. And that's like, nah, you gotta actually be a family member. So she goes back, talks to the mom to get like a written letter to actually speak to Mr. Handling. And that's when they come to find out, hey, you weren't at the movie theater at this time, but at the same time, what were you doing? It's kind of insinuated, all right, he wasn't at home, but he was out doing something with somebody else, a woman, who's probably married and she was white. So it's like, yeah, when he insinuate that, he's like, yeah, I may not be a Shawshank, I might be hung from a tree. So I'm like, okay, it's that plot is getting deep right there, you know what I'm saying? But as far as the kids, man, they're going through it. They're really going through it, man. That's man, Pennywise is a jerk, bro. Yo, he's a whole jerk. How he's terrorizing these kids, man. Like, of course, you see Marge. Marge is still trying to fit in with the mean girls. And at that point, she's trying to set up Lily. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Hey, man, kids go through this in school. You know what I'm saying? Kids do go through this. So there's a scene where she's like, hey, you want to come sit with me in the cafeteria? The girls are actually setting her up, but they're using Marge to do it because Marge knows Lily from the first grade. And she's kind of like, you can kind of see Marge is conflicted with it. You know what I'm saying? So a young boy comes over and tells Lily, hey, you're cute. And then that's when Lily, she gets excited. She's like, hey, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So she doesn't sit with Ronnie, Rich, and Will, right? And before they do that, they actually, Lily had like these pills, I guess these pills that actually calm them down if something crazy was going to happen. There was 4 of them. It was 4 pills. So it was 4 for each one. They're like, if something crazy starts happening, we'll take one of these and just calm down. So Lily goes into the bathroom to freshen up. She's in the bathroom freshening up pretty much. And that's when Marge goes in there because the girl saw, hey, go in there, check on her because we about to, get the set up. Anyway, man, Marge is about to confess to her, and the next thing you know, you hear something popping, like her eye. Now, the scene before that, they're in class and they're seeing the insects and how, like, the insects, their eyes pop out. I forget the name of the bugs, but how they're predators that pretty much, eat the insects, stuff like birds and everything like that. So at that scene, Lily figures, oh no, something has happened. And she tried to take the pill. It falls into the toilet in the water. I'm like, oh geez, bro. You see Marge, her eyes just bulge out. Like it was a very crazy scene. Like her eyes all popped out. And that, again, going to the cons, visual effects right here look so silly, bro. It was like the ghost at the end of episode 3. It was like some old goosebump stuff. I'm like, bro, this ain't scary. Like it's absolutely, the visual effects were taking me out of the scares. That's what I could say as far as the cons for this show. A lot of times the visual effects take me out. Now, if it was like actual like prosthetics and stuff like that, I think there was a scene that actually looked like prosthetics. But for the most part, if it was something like that, I'd be a little more, oh, okay. You know what I mean? But as far as the visual effects were kind of, it was very hit or miss. So you see Marge actually going to the like the little hardware classroom. Her eyes is really popping. And she tries to take the, oh man, it's very, very graphic. She tries to take, bang it, cut her eyes, and then she takes the little saw, gets in her eyes, and actually you see it. You see the whole scene. They do not shy away from it. Cut her eye, everything, blood everywhere. That's when Lily comes in and she sees her screaming because Lily can actually see it. And she's picked up the little tool or whatever, and Marge is screaming. Everybody in the class busts in the room and they see Lily right there with the thing over top of Marge. I'm like, bro, this girl's done. This girl's done. She ain't never getting out that crazy house, right? So there's that scene, right? It was a very good show. It was a very good show. Now, wrapping it all up, you see some scenes with Hollering. He sees like his grandmother and stuff like that. He gets like messages from her, but he actually uses the Shining on one of the gentlemen, one of the natives, the younger guy, because he was actually spying on the military. His name is Tannel. So yeah, Hollering actually, uses his Shining on him, kind of like in the investigation room. I'm sorry, interrogating room, right? That whole scene was pretty crazy because actually Holloran uses the door, goes into it, and he actually gets the whole backstory of how the tribes and the natives they dealt with Pennywise in the past. And it was very cool. And how they said, like, at first they knew it was like an evil spirit that came down, but it was always in the woods, so they knew not to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But they said when the settlers came, when the settlers came, they messed everything up. The settlers came over, they messed it up. They were going to the woods, and he started feeding off him. He getting stronger, and he's actually spreading out of the woods. And at that point, the neighbors was like, "All right, well, we got to move." But one of the young girls, she's like, "No." So she takes the shard, actually goes after the monster, Pennywise, to kill him. Whole crazy scene. The natives, they go after her, and they go in there. They have no protection. He's just taking them apart one by one. But he's like using their fears. He's the settler. He's changing and everything. Really, really good scene. Like the visual effects right there were pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? Especially when he took out the war chief at that time, which was the young girl's mother. So it was cool. And at that point, she was upset. She went back, went in there, and actually found more shards of when Pennywise landed on scene. I mean, he landed on Earth. They broke it up, put it on around the woods, and then you see like an aerial shot of the woods. It's Derry. That's the town of Derry. So yeah, he's literally in Derry in the town. Very great scene, very great scene. And that's when handling, I'm sorry, hollering, he claps to the little boy who was his mind, Tano. He was like, all right, well, where do I start? And as the episode ends, he goes out, it's like, all right, where can I find him? You see the house from It One, the haunted house, where he lives. So I was like, okay, and that's where the episode ends. Really cool, but actually before that, you see there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Like I said, I'm all over the place, but for the most part, man, you see Hanlon and hollering. Hanlon's like, hey man, something's going on. So the end of the episode, pretty much, you see, I'm sorry, before that happens, that was the end, but before that happens, you see Will, he's in the house again because he can't sleep. So he uses his little telescope to look outside. He's looking everywhere. He looks down and actually sees the shadow of Pennywise staring up at him in his room, freaks out and everything. He's like, there's somebody outside. And then that's when, the father goes out and he's freaking out, like, yo, come on out. Looks up and sees the balloon in the tree. So definitely the presence. I think this is episode 5. We actually will see Pennywise. So yeah, man, I love the build up to this. Like I said, this is a very, excuse me, this is a very good show. Excellent show, man. Like I said, pretty long review, but for the most part, man, I'm enjoying this show very, very, very much. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the movies, and the cast is absolutely amazing, man. But anyway, please tell me what you guys think about this if you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, like I said, go check it out. Come back and check the review. Anyway, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hope everybody has a blessed day, and I'll see y'all soon. Have a good one.